Okay, well, it looks like everybody was on that I talked to, maybe, possibly. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm sharing with you guys freedom in confession tonight, and so it's really, you're gonna hear it like straight up. So if I'm not, I don't want to offend anyone, but if I am offending anyone, it's because you're thinking, that maybe this is probably what you should be doing and things like that. So it's really not being offended. It's more coming to reality and realization. And if no one's offended, then awesome, great. But I'm just going to keep it real tonight. So the reason why we're talking about freedom and confession is because when you are running your own business, or maybe your own fundraiser, or anything that you're doing on your own that is self-motivated, like in this business, a lot of times I hear that people say, I need to learn how to do this. I need to learn how to book.
Hi.
I think yours is not muted, and so I'm getting a lot of feedback. Maybe I can mute you.
Crystal, when you're the host, you can mute.
I did
Perfect.
it. Thank you. Okay, so and I'll hear a lot of people say, well, I need to watch more parties, and I need to whatever it is. There'll be a lot of things that they'll say that they need to do. Or if you're working on something personal goal, people will say, well, in order to work on that, I first got to do this, this, and this, and then I can do that. So it's all about what you have to do first, and then you can get started. And really, to be honest, those are really all excuses that we give ourselves, because in this business, it is made so easy. And people have done it before, and they've laid the trail for us. They've laid out everything that there is to do. It's just actually making those confessions to yourself that you just got to do it. And so me saying that is not enough. I think that you have to kind of go through some thought process, go through some question asking, self-discipline. So you can't just wake up one morning and be like, well, I'm not going to give myself excuses anymore, and today I'm just going to be awesome, and I'm going to do this business 100%, and everything's going to be great. It doesn't work like that, but it can work towards that. And so I'm going to give you some things. So for one, you need to say what you need to say to yourself without a filter. So if your goals are set before you, you know what you want to do, you need to say it to yourself without a filter, what your confessions are, what you need to work on, what you need to actually do better. People, I've heard, I actually had someone, and I know that she's going to hear this and she'll know it's her, but nobody else knows her. She said, well, I'm having a hard time getting bookings. And I said, okay. I said, well, how many contacts do you have on your list? She goes, well, I don't know. And I said, well, how many contacts did you make in the last week? She was able to tell me that. And the number was rather low. And I said, okay, so I'm going to ask you to go through all your referrals and let's go through them. And I said, let's just keep it real, because we want to get you to success. So I don't really care what you tell me. Nobody's ever done this perfect. I've never done it perfect. So whatever you say, it's okay. Let's just keep it real. And so she pulled out all of her bookings, and she realized that she had a lot. And I asked her how many, what the contact was on them. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, let's go through specifically. What was your contact? Tell me what your interaction was with them. How many times you contacted them? And she went through it, and she said, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense why I'm not getting bookings. And I said, yeah, it does. But the problem is that you're spending so much time on thinking about what you need to do in order to get those bookings that you feel like you're doing a lot. Because really, when it all comes down to it, you don't want to do those bookings. So what I worked with her on is I said, let's find a way, let's figure out why you don't want to do them, because there's a reason, maybe there's multiple, and let's find a solution. And so we did. She just doesn't like to make more than one connection with them, because to her, it just is uncomfortable. So I just point blank asked her, I said, can you wake up tomorrow and decide that that's not uncomfortable anymore? And she said, no. So, okay, so then what do we need to do? So we found a program for her that she can plug those referrals into, and that program is going to make the connections for her. And the only time she's going to get the responses is when they respond to the messages that go out. And so they're either going to be a booking or a no thanks. So that took away the issue of worrying about what that thought process was. And the reason why I'm telling you that story is because I want you to know, number one, you're not the only one that has decided this is going to be my goal, but maybe fell behind on it because you're not being truthful with yourself or speaking honestly to yourself and really tracking what it is that you're doing, because this is a business where numbers do work. So you know that if you contact 10 people, you're going to get at least one booking no matter what. Like, that's just the odds of numbers. If you go through 10 and you do 10 more, you're probably going to get 2 or 3. So the numbers work out. So don't quit if you get to 10. You're like Crystal said, that's not a quitting point. So don't do that, because it's possible. But if you work out the numbers, it does work. But it's all about the work that you put into it. And our minds are a powerful thing. They can motivate us or they can immobilize us. And so you have to make sure that you're talking real with yourself. So another thing is, where are your priorities? Write down what your priorities in life are, in life with your family, with your relationships, and your priorities when it comes to your business. What are they and what have they been? And see if you guys, there's a fly hanging out here. If they have been in line with what you write down, then great. That's not an area of your concern that you need to work on. You're doing great in that area. But there's some other area that needs help. What is your self-discipline like? And how do you need to change in order to make your goals possible? What is that change that you need? When you start a day and you think, because this is how my mind works. Okay, so yesterday was like a good day. I feel like I did 90% yesterday. I'm gonna hit 100% today. But all of a sudden at 10 o'clock in the morning, something happens, whether in life or in business, and now my day's all scrambled up, and so like, oh, now I'm just not gonna hit it. So I'm just, well, we're gonna have to do it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be like that. You can decide in the middle of the day, in the middle of an hour, in the middle of a minute, that you're gonna start brand new. It's okay to do that, and you can do that. You have to give yourself permission to do that. I think a lot of times the life teaches you that it's either all or nothing, but it's not that way. You have control over 3 things. And I just talked about this yesterday too. You have control over your time, your actions, and your attitude. If you let other people take control of those things, then those would be some areas that you need to work on, because those are 3 things in every single person has control of no matter what. And if you don't, then you're letting too many other things come into your life and allowing other people and things make decisions for you. Because life's going to happen no matter what. If we all wait for life to be calm and quiet and serene to decide to kick some booty, we're going to be waiting forever, because there's always something happening, whether it's in your life or somebody else's, that you want to help with, to allow yourself to detour from your focus. And this is a business that you can take wherever you want. If you want to go on vacation for 3 months in a row, you can go on vacation, but still dabble in your business, because our business can go with us everywhere. If you want to take the day off and go help someone pack up their house because they're going to move, take your business with you. You can be listening to your earphones or whatever and be doing some learning or training or making some phone calls as you're doing that. It is possible. It's just putting those things in front of you, is saying, what can I do to still do this, but follow with my goals that I have? So just a few tidbits there. When you feel like you have control, has there ever been a time in your life where you did feel like you had control of your time and your actions and your attitude? And remember what that felt like. That feeling will help you push through sometimes when you have difficult decisions to make. Because I know sometimes there are difficult decisions to make, because people are wanting to pull you in different directions. And there are people that you care about that do need your help. And so having that at the forefront and remember when that feeling was like will help you make the right decision at that time. Is it always a decision that you should pick your work over things? Absolutely not. This business is faith first, family second, and career third. But if you're not following through with your business, then you're not able to give as much to help your faith and your church, and you're not able to have as big of a financial future for your family either. So making sure that you are keeping your priorities in order and making the right decisions and bringing it with you when you should, is going to help you with that. I do think that taking control of your schedule is one of the biggest things that people have struggles with. And even if someone is really good at scheduling and having a schedule, it doesn't mean that you're in control of your schedule. Is your schedule bound by certain things that you're letting other people control? Like, are you doing certain things that you don't necessarily really want to do, but somebody else wants you to do them, so they're on your schedule? Did you decide to do that because you decided, or somebody else decided for you, or made you feel like you were obligated to do it? So taking a look at those things, not only to focus on your business, but also for you, because when you're doing things that you don't want to do, it drains your energy, it drains your focus, and it drains your mental mindset. Just, I don't know, you don't feel like even if it's supposed to be something that's relaxing, it doesn't feel relaxing because you're doing it not necessarily against your will, but not out of excitement and want. So look at your schedule that way. What does your first 15 minutes look like of your day? Are you are you confessing to yourself and being truthful to yourself that your first 15 minutes of your day are setting yourself up for success or hindering your success? What does your last 15 minutes of your day look like? And I know that I talked about that before, so I'm not going to go into huge things about that. One of the biggest things that you need to really have the freedom to confess to yourself and speak freely and speak the truth to yourself about is your why of why you do Mary Kay and why you do everything else in your life. Because without a why, you have no way. So you have to have your why. Your why is going to push you. So what truly is your why? I know this is a lot of questions that I'm throwing at you, but they're important to write them down, think about them. And if you're not able to figure out the answers on your own, that's when you should have a conversation with someone else. I know that if you want to call me, you want to call your director, whoever's on, that's a conversation you can have. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're telling you the truth, but when you're talking to somebody else that you respect and that you know that they love and respect you, just having the conversation back and forth, even if it's a majority of you talking, all of a sudden it allows your brain to like click and be like, oh, that's what it is. That's my answer. There it is. It happens to me all the time when I'm talking with my power partner, because I do write things down that I struggle with, or maybe I'm not finding the reason why I'm not getting to, or I'm not doing, or I'm not able to find their answer for, and it just kind of comes to me. So make sure you do have those conversations. You must have your purpose. Your purpose drives all of it, and also have a plan to carry it through. So once your purpose is identified, what's your plan of action to carry that through? And I always talk about the power of 3 when you're looking at your plan of action. So if your plan of action is, the easiest thing for me to make an example of is, let's say $600 in sales for a week. So what's your plan of action? Even a brand new beauty consultant. So your plan of action is to be in the power of 3. So number 1, I'm going to go out and put facial boxes up to get people to sign up and for free facials. Sorry, you guys must all be thinking about me because my nose is itching like crazy. My next plan of action is going to be, I'm going to call a list of people that I know, and I'm going to ask them to host a party for me. And my third plan of action is, because I live in South Dakota, at any moment we can get a tornado, a windstorm, a flood. It could actually snow in September. It's crazy here. So my third plan of action would be, I'm going to have an online hostess. So with those 3 plans of action, the power of 3, I know at the end of the week, no matter what happens, I'm going to hit my goal. So that needs to be your plan of action. And then your next thing is, you have to have accountability. What's your accountability status that you're holding yourself to? Is it another person that you're kind of checking in with, letting them know their progress? My accountability is my power partner. I have a 3-way power partner, power of 3, and we use Marco Polo to check in with each other every single day. And there's certain things that we each have to do in order to kind of stay in the group, so to say. And that really, works for us because we're all competitive. And so that works great for us. Next, how are you measuring your goal? So a good measurement, and the best thing I can tell you, is at the end of each day, or it doesn't have to be the end of each day before you go to bed, but let's say it's at the time of the day where you're like, okay, I'm shut off for the day. as far as doing stuff at home and doing my business, I'm shut off. Are you writing down and keeping a list of things that you're doing and did do and checking things off and prepping yourself for the next day, writing things in what you need to do? Because if you're not, you're losing at least an hour of every single day, just poof, gone. Because you're thinking about what you need to do and what you did instead of writing it down. My favorite thing is to say, be part of the Din Din Club. Do it now, do it now, do it now. If there's something that takes you less than 5 minutes to accomplish, instead of writing it on a list to do it now. It will save you so much time, because when we put something else away on a to-do list, and it literally takes 5 minutes, the next time you look at it and realize you need to do it, you think about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what you need to do it. You've already wasted time accomplishing that. So again, if you're not a do it now person, you're probably wasting at least another half hour to 45 minutes in your day. Literally, you could take those almost 2 hours and work a full-time business in this business and create yourself at least $1,000 income. When you have the power of the thought process and you set yourself up for success, you speak honestly to yourself, you speak real to yourself, you write down your goals, you have a path, you have a plan, and you have a reason, and you have accountability, and you have a measurement. That's what you can do. It is so, so, so powerful. Also, do you need a filter for the things that you're letting in your life? That's another thing. Is there things that you let in your life that maybe don't necessarily need to be there? Maybe it's negative talk. Maybe it's negative people. Maybe it's negative stuff that you see on the TV. I'm not telling you to stop watching the news. But what I will tell you is one of the things that I needed to filter out of my life is the news. I had to stop watching and listening to the news because I am so heartfelt that when tragic things would happen or something sad would happen, and I'm not saying it's not good to be heartfelt, but what I'm saying is we live in a world that there's constantly something going on. Somebody's being hurt, something is happening. And when I was letting that in my life all the time, it would be such a burden on my heart and my soul that I would have to dig myself out of that in order to be motivated in my business again. Or what I was doing, stuff for my family. It didn't matter what it was because I'm such a heartfelt person. So I stopped watching the news, knowing that I have enough people in my life that love me and know me enough that if there's something that's directly impacting me, I'm going to hear about it and in a timely fashion. So, and I did tell the few people that were really close to me, hey, I'm going to stop watching the news and listening to the news. So if there's something major that I need to know about, please let me know. So I did have some, things out there, but that was just an example that I did. And also having a rule of 5 in your life is really great. And it's funny, Lisa actually started talking about this on Tuesday, and I was preparing this for today for us. And so there's a rule of 5 that you have that you can live by in your life. And having a rule of 5 is basically when I talked about what's your priorities in your day, in life, but also in your day. So what's your priorities in your day? And these priorities can be different for each day. So maybe they're different during the week than they are on the weekends. But what's your rule of 5? Those 5 things that no matter what, absolutely 100% you're going to accomplish. 2 of mine are I spend time with myself. So my first 15 minutes in the morning are reflection. I go through my schedule. I reflect on my previous day just shortly. I let myself imagine what it's going to feel like to complete my goals, to get myself in that mind frame. I spend some time with my devotions and prayer, and then I spend some time doing my accolades. I am powerful. I am great. I know that I'm unstoppable. I am fearless. I am strong. Like all those things I go through. And so that's my first 15. So that's one of my things. Another one is eating healthy and also going to the gym that day. And the reason why those are important, being healthy and strong and fit, those are all great, but it's important to me for a different reason. If I'm eating healthy and I'm going to the gym every single day, I have an additional power of life that throws me through my day. Without those 2 things, I will get half the amount of things done. And I know that. So to make it a priority is good for me. And sometimes, for instance, the one struggle that I have at home is my husband is a night person and I'm a morning person. So I like to get up early, go to the gym before most people even wake up or think about waking up. And so that's when I like to get it in. And my husband's a night person. So when he has the night off, I'll typically stay up late with him until 2:30 in the morning to spend time together because he works a lot. And I do that because I love him. I want to spend time with him. So I restructure my day the next day in order to do that with him. And so in those days, I can't get up early in the morning and go to the gym. So it is a little bit more difficult for me to make that happen. So what was often happening during those days is I would get on the phone with a client, a customer, maybe my facial would go over. I wouldn't be able to get to the slotted time at my gym. And so I'd go throughout the day and I'd try to get to the gym like 3 or 4 times and it just wasn't happening. And so what I decided to do, and sometimes like I'd get to like really late in the day and be like, well, now the day's almost over. So even though there's 3 more gym sessions, I'm not going because I'm literally going to work out before the next 24 hours starts. So I'm not going to do it. So I do not like to run. I can run. I can run a long distance. I don't like to do it. In fact, it's probably the one thing in life that I almost hate, because I don't actually hate anything, but I can almost hate that. So I decided that on days that I did not get to the gym, I had to run for 20 minutes on the treadmill at an incline of 5 at a speed of 5. So not only do I hate running, or almost hate running, despise it, but I also despise doing it at a really high impact. And so I will stop at nothing to get to the gym because I do not want to set foot on that treadmill. So whatever you need to put in place to make sure that happens is something that I strongly encourage you to do. Also write down your vision. What is it? Anything on paper, anything that you write down is good. And make sure that you have your finances together, both for your business and for your personal life. Have your finances in order, just like we have our business in order, to give, to save, and to live. When those are in order, things are going to be better as well. I think that I hit everything that I wanted to hit. I read over this several times today to prepare, because I'm not someone that reads things off very well. I skip over my words, and so you'll notice that I usually hardly ever go from writing or reading anything off. What time is it? Let me look at I don't want to go over. Ooh, we only got 4 more minutes. Okay, so any questions, comments? Give me your feedback. Was this good? Was it helpful? Is there something you want me to repeat, go over? And then before we go, I just have something that I wanted just to share at the end. So questions, comments, let me know. Because I want to know like if this stuff is good, or if Crystal, you need to go back to the drawing table because we're beyond this point.
Well, I personally appreciate how you talk about taking time for you, because I really believe that when we start building our to-do list so large, that the first thing we sacrifice is self-care. One thing that I really appreciate is that for my birthday, a lot of people focused on my self-care, whether it's that they gave me a coffee gift card and said, hey, go buy yourself a coffee and take that time just to be by yourself. You know, they recognize that that is something that we sacrifice. And just hearing you like validate, like, hey, this is important. Spending time in prayer, spending time at the gym, doing things that make you feel good about you is so important to like catapult you into really driving towards success for your personal business, and really just life in general, being able to handle difficult obstacles. I feel like you're better prepared when you're in a clear mental state. So I just really appreciate that. And thanks so much for sharing, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you. And I agree with you so much, because if I feel like a lot of us in this business have the hearts to give and care for others. And in order to be the best you for other people, you have to be the best you for yourself. Okay, so that's a good question. Marissa's question is, you've been through life and have been so successful. How did you find your determination and drive to push you through the hard times? Oh man, I'm gonna try to answer that as best as I can, because I've had a lot of hard times. I mean, I don't always share that just because I like to be a positive person, and I truly believe that there's nothing that will stop me from doing things. Um, I think the thing that helps me the most throughout my entire life, even childhood, I did not have a strong faith background in my family, meaning like our family didn't go to church together. We didn't have that, but I have always felt really close to God in my heart. And so I always made up staying at friends' house. Like I would make friends with people because they went to church every week. I didn't necessarily know them. I just knew that they went to church with their family every week. And so I would make friends with them and I would go to their church. And so I've always been really close. And so I'm sharing that part because this is where I got to this point. I truly believe that the people that are meant to impact the world in the best way with God's faith and God's love, and to impact the people that need you to touch their lives to make the world a better place, those people that are meant to have that huge, huge impact will have the most negative, tough things thrown at them that they have to go through in life, because I truly feel that that is the devil pulling you down. And so when stuff happens, I'm like, you are not doing this. I got this. And no matter what, I'm going to push through, because there's other people that are waiting for me to get through this, to touch them and to help them get through other things, because that's what I'm meant to do. So that, I feel like that's my purpose. And I just always remember that and think about that when things are happening. So that's number one, the biggest thing. And the other thing I always just think about is, when stuff happens, I give myself time to grieve, to feel sad, to feel mad, but I give myself an allotted time frame. And if it's something really, 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 really hard, I give myself time every single day to allow myself to do that. And then I shut it up in a book and I put it away. And if I need to pull that out multiple times in a day, which there's been a time in my life where I did, then that's what I did. But then I put it away, because I know that I have to get through things, because being negative, being angry, and being sad is not going to make anything better and fix anything, but being positive, moving forward, and taking action are only going to create momentum. And no matter what in life it is, whether it's in business or whether it is in things that you need to do for you and your family, that's just, I believe, a life lesson. So I hope that that's helpful, because those are my big things. I mean, I probably have more things, but those are the biggest things. And I do have a feel good box that I keep for my customers. One's got stuff for my customers in it, just notes that they've shared with me. And if they text it to me, I write it down, or I take a copy and I print it out. And if I'm having a tough day, I open that box and I read it, because I remember that even if it's just one little thing I do, I'm impacting people's lives, and that empowers me too. So that was a good question. Anything else from anyone? Okay. If not, then I'm just going to share. I have a devotional, and then I have a devotional that's kind of like a devotional, but then has some different scriptures for different topics in it. And so I had read this last week, and then I remembered reading it last week, and so I wanted to share it with you guys today, because it really fits our topic of freedom and confession. God's word says that sin separates us from God. But if you're not used to confessing sin, it can seem hard, especially if you're afraid of negative consequences. It's also hard because it means ridding yourself of pride so you can see what you need to confess. Yet the purpose of a confession is not to tear down or condemn, it's to free you from weight sin brings. God loves you. He is waiting on the other side of every sincere outpouring to do nothing but cleanse and renew your heart so it beats as close to His as possible. The reason why I wanted to share this is because this really speaks to you, and what it said to me was, be truthful with yourself, be honest with yourself, have honest self-talk. And if it's too hard to talk to yourself, then talk to God, because you're talking to you and to God at the same time. And God will always forgive you no matter what you say. Sometimes we're scared that we won't forgive ourselves. And maybe we don't need forgiveness, but sometimes just to admit that the things that we need to do, we're not doing, it's hard. And it's hard to admit that to ourselves. But sometimes it's easier to admit it to someone that you know no matter what is going to forgive you. And that one person is always God. And so if you need to talk to God in order to be truthful to yourself and talk clear to yourself, then maybe that's what you need to do. So that's what that helped me with. And I hope that helps you too. I know all of you are powerful and have the courage and the strength to do anything that you ever desire in life. And there are people that are waiting for you to get to a point so you can get to them, because they need you in your life just as much as you've needed other people that have pushed you. They're waiting for you. So do not let success get in the way, because sometimes the fear of success will also slow you down. I believe in you guys, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do this week. Bye.